We have a lot of people voting in this country who don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. There's a new study out that says most Americans would fail the American citizenship test. Now, you and I are pro-immigration. Yes?
I'm the son of I'm the first generation son of an Italian immigrant to this country.
Who passed the citizenship test.
Exactly. I could not be more pro-immigrant.
Right.
It's in my DNA.
So E Pluribus LLC, it's a company, they have a new online platform called Moxie. They just did a survey. Every immigrant to the United States who wants to become a citizen, including your dad, must take the citizenship test. And it's some basic information about the U.S. It's not complicated. There's no math. There's no calculus on this. This is just some basic facts that everyone should know. Here, let me just read you some of the questions. What's the name of the national anthem?
God Bless America.
Star Spangled Banner.
Star Spangled Banner.
So
I wouldn't get me in trouble.
This one's a little tougher. This one's tougher. How many amendments to the U.S. Constitution? This one's tough. 27. That's actually one of the most missed questions. What's the longest river in the United States?
The Mississippi.
There we go. What's the capital of the United States?
Okay, come on. Washington, D.C.
All right. Only 42% of Americans in this survey by E Pluribus LLC, only 42% of Americans pass the test. And by the way, to pass the test, you only have to get 6 out of 10 questions right. 60%.
60%.
Only 42% of Americans could get 60% of these questions about basic American facts right. Let me ask you a real question here. If you can't pass the citizenship test, what business do you have voting?
I understand, but that's not a requirement. I think
it's not a requirement.
I think
but how do you know who to vote to represent you if you don't know what the job of a representative is?
I get it, but along with the privilege to vote, I do believe comes with the responsibility to become informed as much as possible regarding the issues being voted upon and the candidates being elected.
Right.
It's not a requirement, obviously.
Every person has an obligation as a good citizen to be at least minimally educated before you vote. This is your responsibility. You need to take care of your business. Republicans did do better than Democrats on the survey. 44% of Republicans passed the test. Only 35% of Democrats did. But even still, Republicans didn't have a passing grade. 2 out of every 3 Democrats has no business voting in elections because they are simply ignorant of basic civics, too ignorant to have an informed opinion. But 55% of Republicans are also too ignorant to have an informed opinion when it comes to elections.
But I think part of that is because they don't teach this in school anymore.
Not enough.
I mean, American history. I mean, there are classes called American history,
but we've whittled it down a lot. By the way, there's only one political group that had a passing grade. It was independents. 54% of independents had a passing grade. They also broke it out by region, west, south, northeast, and midwest. Okay, the west, which is Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, everything west of that, they had the highest average score by region, 58%. But remember, you have to get 6 out of 10 to pass, so 58% is still failing.
Sure.
Northeast U.S., basically just Pennsylvania, Delaware, and everything of New England north of that. That's 57%. The Midwest, which includes the northern Great Plains states, they had a 55% score. That's also failing in the South. Oklahoma, Missouri, Kentucky, Maryland, and South, 55%. They actually had 48.6%. I rounded up. They had the lowest scores.
Well, does it surprise you that Barack Obama, during his administration, he proposed the idea of making voting mandatory in this country?
No, it doesn't, because, again, they know the vast majority of Americans are too ignorant about American civics to know what the hell they're voting on. And the Democrats don't want you to think for yourself when you vote. They want you to do what they tell you. And if you don't have an understanding, I think it's telling that independents have the highest score on this because independents like to think independently.
Well, they've considered both sides of the issue.
Exactly.
Wait a minute. That's conventional wisdom. It's not that Republicans or conservatives haven't considered both sides of the issue, but independents are closet conservatives anyway. We know that.
55% of conservatives can't pass this test. That's disgusting. That's awful.
I don't know that that's
earlier this year.
True.
That's what the poll said.
Our audience,
most of
would
our audience
not fail this at that rate.
I agree. Earlier this year, Oklahoma became the latest state to require high school seniors pass the U.S. citizenship test in order to graduate from high school. Oklahoma joined 16 other states: Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Minnesota, Missouri, New Hampshire, North Dakota, South Carolina, Tennessee, Utah, Vermont, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. By the way, the Republican-controlled legislature in Kansas passed a bill earlier this year requiring that citizenship test. But the Democrat governor of Kansas, Laura Kelly, vetoed the bill.
Are these citizenship tests going to force voters to know more, to care enough, to get informed on the issues? Because otherwise, I mean,
if you don't know how many branches of government there are, you can't possibly know who you're voting for. That's a bare minimum.